And Neil, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I am ready.
You ready? Okay. We are back from recess from the April 14th budget meeting. Today is April 15th, 2020, and we will start with Public Works Road Department. John.
Jessica.
All right, do we need to review the organizational chart? Any questions? No? All right. So I'll just kind of start off. We are not going to change anything.
Hang on a minute.
We're echoing.
Somebody needs to be on mute because of written feedback or something. Neil or John, one of the two.
I'm going to mute mine to see. I'm getting more feedback here.
Yeah, we're getting echo from you.
Bob?
Yes?
I'm getting echo from you.
Okay.
Even when I'm on mute.
Let me turn my mic off and see. Quit now. No?
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on it. Is that any better? No, you still have the echo. I wonder if it's on your end, John.
Well, I'm going to turn my phone off altogether and see what you guys do.
Neil, you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, it was John. We'll wait for John to get back on. He's having phone issues of some sort. Oop. John.
Yeah, was it any better when I was not, my phone wasn't connected to you?
Not a lot. Just,
No better now either, here.
you're getting, well, it's better, but it isn't a severe echo, but there's a little bit.
Do you have your
When I disconnected from you, I hung up on you. How was it on your end when I was
That's,
hung up?
it was crystal clear with Neil on. Are you live feeding by any chance? Are you watching us on YouTube?
No.
Okay. It's got to be your system, though.
Okay. Well,
Which phone are you on, the 217 or the 404?
I'm on the
His landline.
7513621. It's the same one that was on yesterday. Let me call in on the other phone, see if it makes a difference.
Okay,
I'm gonna hang up.
all right. Huh. I don't know anything changed from yesterday.
Well, when he first called on in, it wasn't like that.
I know.
Hello?
John?
Yep. That's better,
That seems to be better.
A little bit, yeah.
but I'm still getting an echo.
Yeah, we can hear it too.
Well,
Do you have a landline?
I'll try that.
Okay.
I'm gonna hang up.
Mm-hmm. If it's got both cell phones connected, it might do that. Could hang up the one.
Bob,
Yes.
while we're waiting, would you let Megan know that the file she sent doesn't have Public Works? It's, I believe, the one from yesterday.
Yeah, she hears you. We have a new one? Oh,
One I've got is the assessor, and
Oh,
the
okay.
finance,
Yeah.
and treasurer.
well, tentatively. Don't get his hopes up.
Ours would be fine as long as you put gas in your car.
How's my phone working now?
Much
I'm on the
better,
landline.
much better.
Good, and so are you.
Did you? Well, of course. But I wonder, Megan was wondering if you had both phones connected somehow and they were conflicting with you, both cell phones connected in, and that was giving the feedback.
Gosh, I don't know. It could have been. I wasn't connected on both of them, however.
Okay.
But if this is working, we're okay.
All right, let's begin with Road Department and Jessica, I guess.
Okay. All right, so we're just going in with original budget. We're not making any changes at this time due to the COVID-19. We have received some projections on amounts that we could be losing through the fuel taxes, which is the majority of our revenue. So for the 19-20 budget period, they're thinking we could lose up to $228,000. And then 2021, they're thinking up to $374,000 right now. So total, they're kind of projecting right now is $602,000. So just kind of want to let you guys know that. And as we go through the budget, we'll let you know where we plan to cut if that happens.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start off on page 1, beginning balance. You can see it's down a little bit. We had a FEMA event last year, so we spent some money doing some repairs. Street and road permits, I did increase that up to 50,000, so an increase of 15,000, just looking at the history. Keep on going down. We don't have any disaster money coming in, so you'll see a decrease of 392,865. Federal highway work, that's some ER work we have planned for next year from the 2019 storm.
But we still haven't got any approval yet.
Yeah,
It's been a
so
year.
We are down because that was last year we did have the FEMA event or an ER event. So.
We still haven't got approval from the FEMA. They're working on it right now.
Well, we've been working on the Sitcom remote fire station for 5 years with the feds. So you
They
only got
broke
4
ground though.
Yeah, they did. So you only got 4 years to go.
FEMA, I probably got getting close to 200 hours of my own time in it already,
Wow.
and still no approvals.
Okay. You may have to speak up more because it may not pick you up very well.
Sorry.
It's making a lot of noise.
All right, down to flap money, you'll just see a little bit of decrease. We're going back and forth with the feds again on what's gonna be approved for, that's a Sitcom weekly project that's been in the budget for a while. Coos Bay Wagon Road, we're just keeping that the same. Federal forest receipts, you'll see that went up 121,000 due to the reauthorization of the SRS. So that's great for us because last year we went in with 21,000.
Mm-hmm.
Federal STP exchange, you'll see that just went down, but it really didn't. We just spent all the money that was in our pot to spend this year. We were spending that, so. The certs, ODOT, that's staying the same. Hopefully that will go this year and we'll get that off the budget. Fuel tax, the transportation bill increased this year, so that shows a 392,000 increase in our fuel taxes, but unfortunately that's probably gonna go away due to COVID.
Yeah, that changed.
Work for county departments, that shows it went down. That's just our equipment repair, and work for other county departments. We're not doing as much work for other departments, so that is going down. work for outside agencies, keeping that the same. No local improvement district money, miscellaneous, keeping that the same. And then interest earnings, I did bump that up by 26,000, just looking at our history and what we've been receiving. Page 2.
Any questions on the revenue? Lois?
No.
Okay. Page 2.
All right, so we'll start with our personal services. We are looking to add a new maintenance worker 5 and a 4 position. Again, that could potentially go away depending on what we got going on with COVID. You can see the increases are just for those 2 positions. And our experience mod for workers' comp is down, so you see a large savings, 82,000, so that's pretty exciting. That's almost a full employee that we're saving in workers' comp, so.
That'll be one of the last things we do is cut employees. We've got other places we'll cut money with the deductions, COVID, so.
Mm-hmm.
So our increase there is only 85,000, which is 1 employee due to our savings in workers' comp. Running down through supplies, you'll just see that decrease of 608,000. That's because there was no FEMA or ER event this year. So last year we had a lot in supplies to cover those costs. Other expenses, this is just reimbursing for our shop repairs, equipment repairs, etc. It does show it went down 200,000, but that can just vary depending on what we've got coming in, going out. So asphalt budget staying about the same. Just kind of running down to hit the areas where they see some change. Contracted services, you see, went up 111,000. That's because we are gonna hire another contractor to do the blasting of the weekly pits. So that was just an extra 100,000 in there. Engineering keeping the same. I don't know if you guys want to run down through the detail through the pages.
Melissa, do you?
I'm okay with that, the budget committee.
Greg?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sven?
I'm fine.
John and Neil, are you okay with going through the major without going through each individual line item, like herbicides and trucking and litter patrol and all that?
Yes.
Let's,
I am too, I'm fine.
Okay,
can we do, let's cover the asphalt. So page 4
okay.
is asphalt.
Page 4, asphalt.
And I'll let John go through those, because this is an area where we will cut if COVID does truly affect our revenue that much. So I'll let John talk about.
Well, the basic thing we're gonna cut, we got $300,000 in miscellaneous, kind of built in there. We'll take 200,000 out of that for the COVID, and the rest of the money is gonna come out of equipment on page 11, basically.
Which we can cover when we get there.
We'll cover when we get there.
All right, so if you want to start on page 6 at fleet.
You lost me, what?
Sorry, page
Page?
6, we'll go on to the fleet services.
Okay. Page 6. Fleet services.
So nothing is really changing here. You'll see a little bit of increase, but that's just because the cost of living increase that they get per their contract. You can see we've got savings of 6,200 in workers' comp, so that is good. Running down through supplies, we're keeping everything the same. I did bump up fuel when fuel prices were up, so I just don't know. Now they're down, so we'll just let that ride for now.
Most of us have been getting 2 weeks the gallon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't have any real changes in fleet services. If you guys want to run through the detail, it's, like I said, we're not doing anything new. Everything's staying the
That was
same.
really loud.
Okay, John and Neil, do you want to go through the fleet services line by line?
No,
No.
Greg,
No.
Sven,
But
Melissa?
The biggest thing with fleet services is our
What?
supplies.
What'd you say, John?
The biggest thing in our fleet services is supplies, being consistent. We have been consistent about for the last 8 years, so that's good. So we're holding that to the $300,000 range. When I first got here, it was $700,000. So,
We're upgrading new equipment, not having
Yeah.
so much expense in repairs.
Okay.
So we'll jump to page 9, and that'll be the capital projects.
So we're on page 9, capital projects.
Yep. So STP exchange, I'll just kind of run down through the detail because it's pretty short here. So we've got a bi-directional marker project, Catching Slough paving project, Libby paving, and South Cruise River Lane paving. STP money will not change due to COVID, so these projects will still go. I'll go down to contracted services.
On the South Coos River, is that from the bridge up to where the forks are, roughly?
that's from the first tide gate, the big one on Meserly's property, up to the intersection.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's
And
really,
then next year we'll go head east with that. So,
yeah, it's pretty rough.
All right, contracted services, we plan on doing a bi-directional marker project with that STP one also. It's just not on major collectors, so we have to pay for that one, that portion of it. We've got some hefty bridge repairs and some engineering that we'll need to spend $100,000 about on cost allocation. We've got a large culvert up on Sandy Creek that was emergency relief funding that we'll plan to repair. And there's our flap project, Weekly and Sitcom Lane. Doing some guardrail on Ross Inlet. And then our CERTS, which is the West Central Safe Routes to School project, which will go.
Greg and Neil, do you know, or Sven, do you know about that? Okay, okay.
And then our engineering, keeping that the same. And flip to the next page for equipment.
And the SRT project, it's gonna go out for bid Monday, so you know. We just reviewed.
I don't know if they can hear you, John.
The SRT project's going out for bid Monday.
Okay.
All right, so equipment, we had $740,000, which is a pretty hefty amount this year, we had hoped. We've got a bucket truck in there, which will be our sign shop, new sign shop vehicle, because we are gonna get a herbicide sprayer, and we need that to go on our old sign truck. So utilizing some existing equipment and doing a few switches. We'd hoped to get some crusher equipment this year for $400,000. And then a dump truck and a pickup. But I'll let John explain what will happen if we lose that
Now,
money.
if we're estimating 635,000 or 602, yeah, we'll take out about 435,000 out of the equipment budget, which would be the crusher equipment and the pickup only. So we still need to get the bucket truck and the herbicide truck, because that's pretty important, that's a major thing. And a new dump truck with the, so.
Any questions?
John, this is John Sweet. Could you explain for the benefit of the public members of the committee what you're doing up at Weekly Pit? You're spending quite a bit of money there getting that renovated, and could you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, we have about a 2-year plan for that. This year, buy a portable jaw that we can stick up in the pit, for at least the first year. This coming year, to buy a portable horizontal impactor or a portable cone, So we can basically be mobile up in the pit with newer equipment and kind of move ourselves around while we're shooting the faces off, so it'll be a lot more economical for us. We can produce more rock and just basically newer equipment. The maintenance is, we've got a really high maintenance cost with the 1960s and 1950s equipment right now, so we're just trying to update.
You're still having a private company do the shooting though,
We're
right?
still having a private company do the
Okay.
shooting,
Safety wise.
and they can do a better job than we
Production-wise.
can, production-wise,
Okay.
so,
Drilling and shooting?
yeah,
Mhm.
they're drilling and shooting. Same company that's doing all the other bits in the area, so.
Okay, any questions about that? Okay,
So the next page, I believe, is the survey division. That's just what they have submitted. I don't have anything to add on that. Any questions on that?
any questions for Neil and John on the survey division?
No?
No.
Any questions for the rest of us here?
No.
No.
All right, so the road miscellaneous, this is just our contingency. I try to add at least 200,000 every year, boosting that number up. So we're adding 200,000 to bring us to 5,384,000, almost 85,000. And that is it for road.
Any questions on miscellaneous road?
None, thank you.
Neil or John?
Nope.
No thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Saving for being
So we'll jump to our discretionary immunity list.
Hmm?
I move tentative approval of the road department budget.
Do I have a second? Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Okay, discretionary immunity?
Has everybody got a copy of that?
I think so. John and Neil, do you have a copy of it?
I have.
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
I don't know if you want me to read every one of them, but, I mean, on our road projects, we've got the safe routes to school, our paving jobs for, STP, our bidirectional jobs. We still got our flap jobs on there, both of them. I don't know if they're gonna go this year. They may end up going next year because they kind of, they want these to go out to bid. They're not accepting our in-kind match now. They want money match. We're fighting over some of this stuff, so. Our road failures, here's our list of, I mean, the highest priority is our Ross Inlet Road failure, which we're gonna try to get done this year. That's been closed for 2 years.
Oh, yeah, just south of the bridge.
Yeah, then we have some of our ER projects that we need to get done this year, listed on that too, and our FEMA projects.
The folks out at West Beaver Hill were real happy with that repair almost at the end of the road.
There,
Yeah, there was it was a one-way there too.
yeah, we fixed that last year.
Mhm, they liked that.
Then our culvert work, our number one priority is the Sandy Creek failure and ER project. It's only one lane open right now. We just got a riprap inlay holding that road up with no pipe extension. So if that pipe does fail, we'll probably dig the road out down to the pipe and put one lane of traffic right on top of the pipe to get them out if it fails before we get it fixed. But that is our number one priority. There's a lot of traffic in and out of there, so. Then Sandy Creek, some of these, I mean, right now on culvert work, we can list more. We got 4,000 culverts. We got 10% of those culverts are failing right now, so that's 400 that need to be replaced right now in the county. 400 culverts, so. But these are just our priorities right now that we got, that we're working on permits for.
Question, John, how many do you typically replace in a year?
It's getting, right now more. I mean, for the last 4 years, we've done a lot of fish passage, big projects. The smaller, pipes, I don't know, add them up,
Yeah, I haven't,
15, 20 a year at least. But I mean, the bigger,
we just ordered a bunch of culvert, and I told the guys, if the COVID-19 goes through, that's what we'll be doing all year. So, lots of
it's been,
culverts.
when they fail, we fix them. There's no way you can do these ahead of time. There's just too many of them. So when they fail, we jump on them. The flooding, beach loop, we are working on beach loop to see if we can raise that road, where it floods all the time.
We've talked about that for a while.
Anderson, there's really nothing, I mean, we go in there, we were there 2 years ago, raising the road. We didn't do nothing this last year. Next year, we probably won't do nothing again, so. In Trans-Pacific, I mean, I got it listed on there, but it's kind of off our right-of-way, the flooding on that. Our paving projects, these are our priorities for this year. North Lake, patching, Bay Area, got all those aprons on, Barview, we got all those aprons tying into the Cape Arago Highway that have never been paved in 30 years, so we want to tie all those together. East Bay Road, some patching. North Bank, we've been working on North Bank for the last several years. We're about at milepost 10 now. So, and then Croft Lane, McTibbins, we didn't get those last year, so we're gonna try to get those this year. West Fork of the Millicoma, East Bay, I got that listed twice. Fish Trap Road and Old Wagon Road, then the miscellaneous paving. Then our bridge projects, Gaylord's, still listed at number 1, but our priority on bridges is Noble Creek. That we're getting some bids and some engineering bids for that right now, so we can get that fixed. So that's about it for our priority list. Any other questions on?
I had a call the other day from some folks out at Rink Creek, said they had some fairly major holes in their pavement.
Where-
I don't know where at, but
On which road again?
Rink Creek,
Yeah.
just south of Copial.
They're down toward the end.
One of the people who called me owns the cemetery right off of 42, so I don't know exactly where it was.
I can have the,
Bob, tell John Rowe about the owner's, the cemetery owner's signage request.
Well, I've forgotten already, I guess. You want to enlighten us?
He's objecting to the use of the sign, the dead end.
Oh, yes,
Oh.
the dead end sign right at the cemetery. Maybe no outlet or something might be better.
I think no outlet would be just as bad, maybe worse.
Road terminates, no?
End of county road.
Oh, I don't get his answer.
Something more appropriate, maybe.
Dead end.
Yeah,
But that's
right
what-
at
that's
the
what's
cemetery.
legal, so. I guess.
He wasn't seeing the
According to
humor in that too much.
DCs.
did we just recently put it up or something?
I don't know, we can push it back a little bit, that's
Yeah.
all you can do, past the cemetery. But you gotta give people time to turn around if they see it, so.
Okay, moving on to solid waste then. Oh, wait a minute, I guess we can accept the the risk management for public works for road department projects. Do I have a motion?
Move to accept the discretionary immunity list for the road department for 2020, 2021.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alrighty. Now, solid waste.
All right. Any questions on the organizational chart? Are we good? All right, so we'll start here on page 1. So beginning balance, I have us up 158,000. I did bump up our franchise fees up by 10,000. We're just seeing an increase each year. Waste disposal fees, we had a fee increase effective April 1st. So we are predicting that will bring us another 100,000. So I increased our fees up to 2.3. Services to county departments, that's just the HHW lead, so that comes in about 22,000 each year. Miscellaneous, keeping that the same, that's just our e-waste and battery revenue we get, minimal. Interest earnings, I increased that by 10,000, just looking at the history and what we've been receiving. And the waste disposal reserve, that's our closure cost expenses. I have it, it's down a little bit, that's just what I predict we're gonna spend this coming year. Show us up 275,000 from last budget.
Okay, any questions about the revenue portion of solid waste? Hearing none, moving on to expenses.
Alright, so regular wages, you'll see just a little bit of an increase. We did reclass our bookkeeper to office manager, and some COLA increases, or cost of living increases with our union employees. Running down, workers' comp, you'll see a little $3,400 savings. That's good. No other changes there. We don't have any plans on changing our personnel up there. All right, supplies. I did increase that a little bit, $1,700. Just general supplies, if we need to run down through the detail too. In our supplies, we've got bird fireworks that we try to keep the seagulls off the buildings. We've got office supplies in there. I added our postage, just general repair and upkeep, safety supplies, and then, like I said, I increased that just a little bit, but nothing substantial. Our equipment repair and maintenance, you'll see that decreased by 4,700, hopefully even more than that because we got a new loader. So our old loader is just kind of a backup, and hopefully we won't have to repair that as much this coming year. Less than 5,000 equipment decreased by $4,000. We don't see anything we need this year, so we decreased that. Fuel I decreased a little bit, just looking at the history. And utilities I decreased a little bit, just looking at history, same. Contracted services, you'll see went up a little bit. I added some money for tire disposal. The road department's been cleaning up quite a bit of tires, so that's gonna increase in our contract services by having to haul those out. Also, we added pressure washing to our buildings out there. The seagulls are landing on all of the buildings, so we'd like to keep those pressure washed at least once a year. If you flip to page 5, we can run down through our contract services. You'll see Barrett increased. We've been missing an operator out there for almost a year, so we've been doing some temp employee, trying to get some coverage out there, so that's increased. electrical contracting, that's just kinda in there in case something were to ever happen with our scales. We gotta make sure we've got money on hand to get those up and running, cause that would be, pretty substantial if those go down. And then just kind of a miscellaneous in there for 10,000, like I said, just as needed, if we need any repairs out there. Shutters Creek does some mowing for us, our scale support, and there's the pressure washing, stormwater consulting, with BB&A, and then you'll see the tire disposal, and then waste connections. I'm keeping that expense the same. We've been averaging just under 100,000 per month to haul the garbage away. I don't think we're gonna go over that this coming year. Things could change though. The dump has been, the amount of people coming out there has been huge.
Really?
Like, last week was a really big week for us, so,
Okay.
I mean, just looking at past, usually, you know, we'll have a couple days of over 100 people come through the booth, and almost every day last week was over 100.
Well, they're not out recreating, Oliver, and they're at home, so they're cleaning up and,
Clean,
yeah.
yes, so we had
Huh.
a really
And
big
they're
week.
using gas to get there.
Not enough, though.
It's true.
So that's the increases on contracted services. The code enforcement abatement, that's just if we ever have to go out and clean up property. So that was just sitting there. We haven't used that at all this last year, so.
Okay.
So jumping down to our refurbishment, let's go down through that, which is on page 6. So we've got plans to do some asphalt work out there, near our metal pile. It's getting pretty broke up, holding water, so we need to do something down there. We always have some eco blocks in there as needed. We can create some special areas, like we had done some furniture areas where people aren't having to throw them into the pit. They can just set them there, and we'll do that for them. Fencing, we have an ongoing issue with theft and people coming in after hours. So this is $150,000 in there to secure the entire property with a 6-foot, 7-foot fence.
You would not think people would want to break into the same place where people pay us to leave stuff. It's just very
Yes.
counterintuitive.
But they are gonna log everything around it, so it's gonna be wide open.
Yes.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
part of it, so.
We've recently found several batteries out in the brush that people have been trying to carry off, and so just never ending for some reason. We also have in there, in our commercial dump area, it's only supposed to be for self-dumping trailers or the commercial dumping trucks, but the residential people go in there and also try to dump their trash, and we're worried about them falling in the pit. We've put up signs, they still do it, so money is in there if we need to put up a gate in the commercial dump area. So that will probably only do one gate, but at least we'll have one. So we haven't decided if it'd just be like an arm gate that, and the commercial dumpers would have a button to push, so when they go to back in, it would open, or if the booth could have a key to, or a fob to open the gate also.
But with the new pit roof, we're putting options in for metal roll-up doors on all the bays, and we would do that on the truck dumps too. Then we can close off one and have one open.
All right, running down here, the main office, we talked about a little parking shed next to the office for employees parking. The seagulls out there are awful, so the vehicles are covered in the seagull guano. So we got a quote on that. And then the netting or wire on the roofs, to help protect maybe on a new roof, so the seagulls aren't landing on it, because that's why a lot of them are rusting and whatnot, so. And the pit roof, we inflated that price by $100,000 because we're not gonna be able to do it this summer. It's gonna have to go next summer. Those are a few of the increases there.
Okay.
On to, any questions on that? We'll move on to closure.
Any questions, Neil and John?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I don't see it from anybody else, so, okay, go.
No
Okay.
questions from me?
So our closure operations, this is just, we didn't change it a lot. You can see it actually just went down by $2,700 total. This money is just there in case something happens at our Jonay, Bandon, Beaver Hill. We do have to do some general maintenance, which is on page 10 under contract services. So we usually hire someone to come in and do some trench maintenance every year. And that's $5,000. BB&A helps us with our consulting, well monitoring on our closure sites. Any additional sampling required by DEQ. We do have to haul leachate water out of Beaver Hill closure wells. That's $2,000 we have in there. And electrical contracting, that's just as needed. If anything were to happen with our pumps there at Beaver Hill, we need to be able to have the money there to repair. And then we have Oregon Department of Corrections come in and do weed eating around the trenches also. Engineering, just some, if we need signs or road rock, it's just kind of in there. And then our capital outlay, major repairs, same thing, the money is just in there in case we need it. So we've got Bandon, we are doing some extra work per DEQ request, so that'll be actually an agenda coming across next week to do some fertilizing and spraying and whatnot. But it didn't increase from last year, so we're just keeping it the same. Any questions on closure?
John or Neil, do you have questions on closure?
Oh,
No.
Greg, Stan, Melissa?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, so on to the waste miscellaneous. So the first go here, we didn't have any money going into general fund. Waste disposal reserve fund, that's just to pay for the closure costs, so we always just do 200,000. So then you'll see, going into our contingency or unappropriated balance, we've got total $1,044,000 this year going in there.
So in the proposed budget, we actually have the transfer to the general fund of $333,963 is already included. Just FYI.
So if you look on the last page,
10%.
the 10% reduction, that will show what you guys are looking at, right?
Yeah.
So that'll show the 333,963. So then only 710,280 would go into our contingency.
Maybe.
So it's already included in the budget?
That's already
Okay.
included.
Give or take.
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 Yeah, I was gonna say take also.
No,
Or
no.
more, or more.
You'd be sorry you asked the question.
Okay, any questions on that? We can go into our next page here, waste disposal reserve, page 12.
Okay.
So, got our beginning balance up a little bit from last year. That's just because we didn't spend what we had plan to spend in closure. Like I said, it's all kind of a prediction and be able to spend it if we need to. So that's why that went up. And then you'll see interest earnings, I bumped that up by 3,000, just looking at the history. Waste disposal fund, that's the $200,000 for closure. So then, jumping down to the closure, post-closure. So we are planning to do 192, 195, spending that in the closure, and then our contingency there, 115,000, and then the unappropriated, the 652, 272. I like to try to add as we can into that closure reserve to get that up in case something were ever to happen at our closure sites. Any questions on that?
Apparently not.
Alright. So household hazardous waste. I've got our revenue up by 102,353. It's $3.27 per ton, what comes out of our fees and goes into this account. So our fees are up, so I'm predicting that's why our beginning balance is up.
I noticed you canceled the next event too.
Postponed.
Oh,
So, yeah, we postponed March and April right now. I'm waiting to hear, we have to hold 8 events per year per our DEQ contract or permit. So I asked DEQ what they want us to do and I haven't heard back, so.
Okay.
We've got a couple of months we could do. We don't do a May event or a December event, so. So that is something we could see, our contract services, Clean Harbors, who does our events for us, our expenses aren't gonna be as much this year because we did postpone those events, so. But we usually keep enough money in there, I think we'll be covered if we have to add the 2 events into next year, so I think we'll be all right. All right, so still up here at our revenue, household hazardous waste, the fees, I did bump those up by 19,000, so 215,000 I predict we're gonna bring this coming year. Interest earnings, I increased that by 5,000, just looking at the history. Any questions on the revenue?
John or Neil, do you have questions on the revenue for household hazardous waste?
Nope.
No.
Anybody here?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
All right, so operations, really didn't make any changes there. You'll see there's a decrease. We just, each employee has a percentage, whether they're in closure, general operations, or household hazardous waste. We just decreased one of our employees' percentages in this household hazardous waste fund. So that's why there's a decrease. I believe they were at 10% original and we bumped them down to 5%. It's the only reason for that. Supplies will stay the same. Equipment, fuel, and utilities. Training and travel, I did just bump that up by $200, just looking at history there. Alright, and let's jump over to contract services. You can see we dropped by 5,000. So let's go over to page 16. So we've got Barrett, which helps, a Barrett employee will help us at our events at Beaver Hill, directing traffic and whatnot. There is our 10% lead pay for Beaver Hill, gets that revenue coming in. Fire suppression system, Gold Coast security, and then our HHW contractor costs, keeping that right at the same. I don't see that needing to increase right now. Each event runs around 11,000 per event. Our Curry events are usually more, like around 15,000. We are gonna watch that a little bit because the new Oregon contract with Clean Harbors seems to be a little bit expensive, so we're gonna look at maybe going back onto the Washington contract and saving a little bit of money there. And our special waste and associates, that's where the decrease is of $5,000. They come out and do our annual HAZWOPER training required for our employees to be able to run this household hazardous waste events. We're not having them do that. We did it online this year, and I believe it was like $80 per employee versus $5,000 total. So it was a huge savings for us. So, other than that, I don't think there's any other changes. So if you go down, I'm keeping the capital outlay, major repairs, just $100,000 in there in case we need to do something with the building, or if something goes wrong, we can utilize that. And then our contingency, I have it $121,231, and our unappropriated balance $308,000. So you can see we increased that $520,258 total. Any questions on that?
Any questions for household hazardous waste?
On this Barrett business that you talked about, what did they move?
It's just a temp employee we'll have come out, and so when you first drive into Beaver Hill, the road will split, and HHW or household hazardous waste, they go to the right. Sometimes they get confused and go to the booth, so we'll have them out there directing where they need to go.
They'll ask every car where they're going.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could get any of those Shutter Creek people up here.
Yeah.
If you're happy with what they've been doing for mowing and stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't usually spend all of that on them, and a lot of the time we don't. I mean, like right now, you can see this year we spent $120, so it's pretty minimal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only, and you know, our events are only for
We had
4 hours.
a bunch of money in there for the budget, I didn't know how much.
It's usually the same guy, and he's pretty good with the people.
Yeah, so,
He can explain it to them.
yeah, 18-19 year, we only spent $253, so it's pretty minimal. Actually, I think quite a few, most of the time, sometimes it's hard to even get an employee to get out there and do that, so. So I think our price per ton is still okay for this fund. We're still, there's like 34,000 excess per year that we're seeing come in, so we're okay. Don't need to increase that right now.
Okay. Any other question about solid waste? We need a motion for solid waste budget.
Move tentative approval.
Any discussion about
So does that include the 10%?
Second that.
spend? Okay.
Of course it does. You already included it.
Nice try.
That was me, just clarifying, this is Megan.
Megan wants it on the record.
Yes.
Please.
That wasn't Jessica or John.
I assumed it was.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So John did do a discretionary immunity list for solid waste. I know it wasn't on the plans. Oh, I did include it. Okay,
Did
I
we
just
send
didn't
it?
include it him.
But it's
Okay.
sensitive.
So,
You know, on that security fencing for 150, are you getting vandalism too? Or just,
There's people stealing out of there all the time, getting in, just walking right in.
But they have broken into buildings. They've
Yeah.
stolen a vehicle in the past and drove it all the way to Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
pickup,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
They
hot
will
item.
still.
It's the most
steal.
exciting thing that ever happened to that pickup in its life.
Yeah.
So excited.
Nobody thought that pickup would go from Beaver Hill to Coke Hill, let alone to Vegas.
Yeah. It's just having those people in there in the evening is just not good.
Yeah.
Rummaging through things and,
They've even set up camp in the pit and had tables set up and,
Wow.
I mean,
Enjoying themselves.
eating their lunch or whatever, I don't know,
Wow.
or their dinner.
We've caught a few of them, but the problem persists.
and then they plan on logging all of the timber out of there, so.
Yeah, it's gonna open it right up, so.
All right, I'll let John run through that list.
Everybody's got a copy of it?
Yes.
I put 6 items on here is all, and the number one priority to me would be the closure plan that we have to keep up with our permitting and DEQ. Second would be the pit roof. Third would be the security fencing around to keep everybody out. Then the truck dump barriers to keep people from falling in. Need asphalt paving, the big things in front of the recycle building so we can grind it out and keep water draining away from the recycle building so people aren't walking through the water to get to the dumpsters, and then bird control. So
Okay.
I can't think of any other major priorities but those are priorities that we need to get done, so.
Okay, thank you. Parks Department,
I think we need to approve this list, Bob.
are we gonna approve the list? I thought he was just saying that's what he was intending.
I think it says discretionary immunity list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
Well,
wanna go ahead?
Do I
sir?
need a motion for solid waste prioritized project list for 2021?
So moved.
I'll second.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Parks Department.
Tried to hand it to Craig, but he wouldn't take it.
You need to hand these out.
Yes.
You do that, right?
Yep. So what's coming around is the new proposals for our beginning balance with our parks being closed.
How much are we losing a week from the parks being closed?
Well, for March and April, spring break and all of April, 102,000. May would be 58,000, June would be 99,000.
And that's just on the reservations that you have
Some
right now?
reservations, yes.
Yeah.
Current
That's not even,
reservations, so that's not including what we would be earning, which is about 40 to 50,000 a month.
ouch.
So what we're trying to do there is cut back our spending so we can maintain our beginning balance on our original budget, which our priorities right now are gonna be putting money into Loop D, which we gotta get done. That's our biggest priority right now.
Right,
And getting the bathroom fixed at Laverne Park.
right,
That's it. We're canceling all other spending, period.
okay.
So the option one, the first column, is everything through March and April refunded and what we've lost, and at the bottom line there in the yellow is what we have proposed as our beginning balance originally. So with what John just spoke about, we're saving with, we suspended garbage service, we're not hiring seasonal, and then the projects, we're able to make up that loss without affecting budget. So not knowing if we're going to be closed in May or not, the next middle column, we would have to refund 58,000 in current reservations, plus lose what we would earn in May, and that would make our beginning balance drop down to 569, which is about 46,000 less. And our plan to absorb that would be to give up a vehicle in capital outlay. And then the third option, which hopefully we don't get this far, would be if June is closed. We would lose another 99,000 in revenue. And bottom line, we would be 166 short in our beginning balance. So the plan to absorb that would be the vehicle and capital outlay still, and then plus 115 out of our major repairs. So we can still, within the budget we're presenting today, absorb everything clear till June.
So we can maintain our 615 budget carryover, so that'll be the priority.
And we're extremely hoping for a May opening, at least Memorial Weekend. That's, I keep praying for. We get calls daily asking what's the date, and I said, I can't pick the date.
I know.
Well, this is really
I wish we
excellent.
could too.
I was wondering this,
Yeah, this is,
where we were gonna be.
Bob's right, this is really helpful, because we get this question all the time from, federal and state officials saying,
Mhm.
how much is the impact? And so being able to know that
Yeah,
directly.
and the park fees, I mean, the top line up there, the park fees is the biggest decrease of impact that we're having on this. And that first day coming to work, doing all those refunds, that was a tough day.
And I can imagine when we do start up, it'll be kind of a slow start. We'll have people in every other spot probably and still have separation and,
I did this morning, I looked at splitting, because I hadn't looked at what if the possibility we keep Memorial Weekend, and if we did end up keeping Memorial Weekend, it's like, it'd be about 30,000 instead of, about 38 instead of 50, so it'd be about 20,000 less if we keep, if we go farther. Okay. So we're going through line by line? Okay, the proposed budget.
I assume that John and Neil don't have this page, or did they?
I just tried to email it to him, I took a picture with my phone.
Did you? I was gonna do
I
something.
did email
Probably-
this to John Sweet.
Okay, so I just emailed it to John and Neil.
Okay.
I don't know how good it's gonna be to see, how easy it's gonna be to see, but
Did Neil or John, did it show up?
I haven't looked, but I have I have a graph for what it is.
Okay,
I'm looking.
all right.
Sorry, I didn't have the other email address or whatever.
We can come back to it, I guess, if you can't find it. Let's go on to regular parks budget.
Okay, so our revenue, the beginning balance, we're proposing still the same, 615,802. Park fees is 1,206,000. RV registration, that's from the state of Oregon, 457,880. Boat ramp maintenance is our money that we receive for all of our Coos County boat ramps from the state. The 120 is a grant that John is currently applying for 2 playgrounds, one at Bassendorf, and where was the other one? Laverne.
but we just found out they only let us do one at a time, so.
The 113,338, that's an active grant for through the ATV committee, so we're in the second year. That's already an approved grant in budget from last year. 250 is the Charleston Merchant Center, a lease agreement. Then we have 3,000 for miscellaneous interest earnings, 27. Rents, we receive $2,000 a year from the Coos Riders Association for leasing the Riley motocross track. So overall, we're coming in 4,659 less than last year. Okay. Personal services. Page 2.
It's allergies, I swear.
Everybody's sick. All right, personal services, we are up 83,607 total over last year. We aren't doing any changes this year. That increases a new park ranger that we put in last October. So all of the increases are because of that last park ranger. There is a $12,000, 643 decrease in workers' comp. So the overall is 83,607 up over last year. And then, let's see, we're remaining the same on supplies, general supplies and maintenance for the park. Minor R&I, we are proposing to increase $10,000, and that's for landscape maintenance, adding some additional trees and shrubs to 10 Mile. Fire patrol, no change. Permits and rent, no change. Info technology, no change. Less than 5,000 equipment, we're proposing $9,000 increase to add 6 AED devices to our 5 main parks plus the office. We got a quote from Bay Area Ambulance for those. Insurance premiums decreased $1,623. Utilities, an increase, we just put a general increase of possible rates going up and possible more usage in the parks. Utilities usually increases every year. No change to telephone, no change to training and travel. Vehicle expense, we bumped up $6,800 just for fuel expense going up. Contracted services is up $34,450. The biggest portion of that is $25,000 for an ADA plan. You want to explain
Transition
that?
plan, which is one of our number one priorities.
Okay, down to capital outlay. It's up $6,861. Our proposed spending and capital outlay, let's go to that page. Is to purchase a new Dodge pickup truck, which is $31,185. And then purchase 2 UTV utility trailers that are $19,730. And this is the line item that I said we'll be giving up if our park fees decrease or beginning balance is gonna go down. This entire line item will be one that we would erase. Major repair and improvement. So we're proposing $389,281 in that one. So going to page 8, I'll go over what that total will look like. $90,000 in paving. Agritech Powers Pond for weed removal. Jamestown for fire pits, that's for 200 new fire pits. Some restrooms and shelter roofs at Powers. I had to put this in there. A pickleball court, $8,000 for Powers Park. This is the playground grant, $180,000. So $60,000 of that is a cash match. $120,000 was the grant. A kayak launch at Powers for $12,000. West Laverne A showers. Currently, we have a group camp at West Laverne A. There's 10 sites there that have water and electric. There's no showers at that park. It just has a restroom. So to remodel and add a couple of shower stalls at that park. And then 100 picnic tables.
Those are the galvanized metal ones, so all you have to do is replace the tops.
Okay, next line item, $100,516. That is all for Riley Ranch, new loop, 32 new sites, all big sites that we will be making a lot of money on when they're ready.
Doing 70-foot deep sides, 35 feet apart, 32 of them.
Oh, and that major repair and improvement line item, the 389, that's also where we would take out that other 116 if we need.
115.
That new expansions between where the sheriff's office and the caretaker live and the motocross track,
Okay.
between those two.
So, if I can ask a question, what's the difference in what you think you'll be charging these versus the, I'll say, normal spaces?
They're gonna be 50 amp. We're hoping to do $50 a night for these.
They say 60.
At least 50.
We'll be arguing over that, but we charge 35 a night at Riley. That should probably raise a little bit, so I'm hoping for 40 and 60. Maybe 45 and 50.
These will be geared toward the people with buses with a trailer or the big fifth wheels, 50 amp. There's enough room for,
There's a demand for that
oh yeah.
space?
Yeah, we've already looked around at comparing parks prices and, you know,
It's one of those things, build it, they will come.
Good deal.
Okay, on to, the next one is the vehicle lease line item. So we have a current lease with a Dodge pickup. That's, I think we're in year 2 of that lease. It's a 6-year lease, 5-year maybe. And then we would like to add a new lease to purchase a mini excavator cat for $23,139, and that is a 5-year lease. And then finally, the last thing is our operating contingency. 10% of our budget we put into operating contingency for $259,088.
Okay. Any questions for the Parks Department budget?
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the first page you handed out to us,
Yes,
3 columns,
yes.
I believe you said the 115 was coming out of major repairs, and maybe I'm overlooking it, but I see in the middle column it's 84,000, and in the far right column it's still 84,000.
So that's, this whole line item is what we're spending this budget year. So this,
Yeah,
this is
this
based
budget
on
year
what we're
still.
spending this budget year to get our carryover for next year.
Okay.
So we had proposed in the budget of, what, 389 for that line item. So we're saying next year, if we don't come in with that 615 beginning balance, we'll have to reduce the budget this
It's a
year.
little confused because these numbers are this current
Current year.
Yeah.
numbers, so we'd have to take money out of the next budget to make up the difference to get the same beginning balance.
Yeah, this is the spreadsheet to figure out the ending balance this year to roll over to next year.
I was looking for the 115 to be a difference from either the first or second columns to be cumulative in the third column, and it's, I guess I couldn't find that correlation.
Right. And it's because it's a mixture of the park fees also going down plus the refunds. So it's what we're losing in revenue and park fees minus the refunds. So that's what the difference is.
Have we used Agritech for weed removal at Powers Pond before? Yeah,
We did
And
one,
Yes.
one other
back
time.
We did,
and good
Yeah.
results.
very good.
Yeah, that was good.
Mhm.
Do they just have a machine that goes in and?
I didn't watch, so I don't know.
I didn't want.
Craig's here, he could probably say.
They actually
Craig
have
was
like
there.
it's called like an airboat, you know, what's used down the bayou. Down the bayou has a big propeller in the back of it,
Yeah.
and it's a flat bottom, and he has tanks in there and nozzles that go down into the ground, or into the water. And so he sprays it underwater, it's not a topless underwater, so you can go around to different areas and leave areas for habitat. And
Okay.
then
About how often does it have to be done? I'm just curious at this point.
We're trying to do it every 2 years,
Okay,
because it kills a lot of it, and then you let it go back, and, because you have to go 7 days with no fishing after you apply it.
okay.
And it's been more than 2 years this time. We looked that up though, huh? It was
Yeah, it's
6.
been 3, I think. That was
Yeah,
You
I
can only
think,
do
I
it
kind of
in the
remember
fall.
3 also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Does a good job, though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but you don't need it out at Butterfield Lake?
No,
I mean, is it still-
don't have a weed problem.
It's the only one,
You
I
use it
mean,
in
other
10
than
mile.
Johnson Mill Pond. Yeah, I know, right? Might take them a while out
A
there,
little
10
different
mile.
scale, however, but
Be a lifetime project.
Yeah.
All right, that was all I had, thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion on the Parks Department budget.
Move tentative approval.
Have a second?
Second that.
Okay, Sven seconds. Any discussion about the Parks Department budget? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Discretionary immunity for the parks? Or, yeah, let's do that, and then we'll take a break after that.
What? Let's do discretionary immunity?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, wasn't sure if there was something else.
So what I did on the discretionary immunity for parks is I formatted it like I've done for the road department, basically. So I kind of split this up. The first group would be all parks and boat ramps, stuff that affects all of them, and then split the major parks, Powers, Laverne, Bassendorf, Riley, 10 miles, separated those out. Then I separated the small parks for camping or day use only. And then have the boat ramps and fishing docks at the end. So on the first one, for all parks, and it's the first 4 priorities is the ADA transition plan. We gotta get this done. Road department's had it done already, but that's our biggest thing. We can get sued pretty easily on anybody tripping or falling on these ADA ramps. We have to get them inventoried. And the first thing they're gonna ask for is, where's your transition plan? We gotta have it. Then the AED devices, which is in our budget to get those done. The picnic tables is a big thing, a priority for all the parks. So we're gonna get 100 of the galvanized frames, and then to finish the fire pits at our parks. So that was kind of on my priority list. So each campsite's got a good fire pit, a good picnic table. Then Powers Park, I got these paving's a big priority there, roofing 4 buildings. We got to install new campsite electrical pedestals and conduit. This year we want to get a kayak dock done, the pickleball court. There's repair on the pond dike to do, the pond weed control, which we have scheduled, ADA ramps and sidewalk repair. One of the big things for that at Powers is we want to have parking in the parking lot next to the tennis courts and cut through a crosswalk after we pave, so people don't have to walk down the road to get up to the office, or they can just walk across the crosswalk there. And fencing along the roadway to cabins 1 and 2, going up the hill. At Laverne, again, paving's a priority. Paving's at West Laverne. Extruded curbs are deteriorating in the main parking lot. They need replaced. A playground set, showers for West Laverne A, new shelter over the water tanks, a pavilion. We've got kind of a pamphlet on pavilions, and I think that's a good idea for the wedding area, to have a pavilion there that we can have events with a nice pavilion to get married under and stuff in West Laverne. So, of course, trees, planting some more trees along the roadway with some colors in it. Then ADA ramps. At Bassendorf, here again, paving and patching. We still, the big thing for Bassendorf is we still have our plan, we're gonna make access down to the beach, so you can walk out of the park 3 lanes and redo that parking lot and have a 6-foot paved walkway down to the beach so people can get down there. And then the guardrail at the lookout, it's a metal guardrail right now. I gotta talk to Craig and the crew. We're gonna build one with wood, 8x8s and 4x12 boards to make it look nice. So everything kind of matches. Of course, the playground's set, and new electrical pedestals and ADA ramps, and they've been working on the ADA ramps and sidewalks already. So. Riley Ranch. I got E-loop and we're already working on F-loop or D-loop, and then there's E-loop, the next one after that. I think I got these screwed up. It's supposed to be D-loop and E-loop, and I got
Yeah,
E-loop and F-loop.
I don't think
So
we have
change that.
F yet.
Yeah, I messed up on that. D-loop and
D and E.
D and E, not E and F, so. Then we need to get a bigger restroom in Loop A, fencing barriers, more landscaping, the playground sets needed there too, and ADA work and handicap stuff. 10 Mile, wanna do new campsites on the big AC pad, and then remove campsites that are existing. Right now, they're only 20 feet between sites on a lot of them, and they're just too narrow. So. Then improve the landscaping, fencing, playground, ADA again, so.
That'll make a big improvement out there,
Yeah.
because it's just exposed to the wind in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Just one big wind plane out there.
We've already planted quite a few trees already.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I kind of splitted the small campgrounds between camping and day use. So you got Rook Higgins and Nasika are the small camping sites, the campgrounds. So Rook Higgins, we need to regrade and rock the roadway, rebuild the restrooms, repair the freshwater system and replace signs. Nasika, need to regrade, repair the freshwater system again, remove guardrail and replace with fencing and do tree maintenance. The small parks, the day use, each little park has a little bit. I mean, Sandy Creek is to remove the ramp off the covered bridge. That's falling down, it's a hazard. Johnson Mill Pond, there's some tree maintenance and regrading. Jediah Parker, same thing, rebuild the restrooms. Ham Bunch, another rebuild the restrooms are the big things. Bennett, rebuild the restrooms. Wallace and DeMint, reconstruct the roadway. And construction, fishing, access parking. Verona Park, there again, the restrooms need redone. And the boat ramps and fishing docks, got Arago, got to replace some handrail, install fencing, new roof on the restrooms, one of the big things. Replace the docks. Coke Hill, pave the parking lot, tree maintenance, dock replacement. Riverton, there's a water drainage problem in the middle of the parking lot. That's probably the first priority, needs to be taken care of. Then maybe pave and stripe the parking lot. Rocky Point, to repair the boat ramp. Some of these are pretty big items. To realign the docks and ramp, it's a $75,000 thing to do. Doris Place, re-rock, repair docks. So pretty much through all the parks, it's the regrading and redoing the parking lots and repairing docks on most of them, so.
Okay.
That's about it for those.
Any discussion about discretionary immunity for parks? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the discretionary immunity list for parks.
Have a second?
Second that.
Sven seconds. Discussion? Hearing none? What, Melissa?
We just really appreciate all the work you're doing.
Yeah.
Nice to see it. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The crew's been working pretty hard. They're doing a good job.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like to second what Melissa said and compliment John, Greg, Tammy for the leadership they provided. And it really has made a difference, I think, because the crew seem very excited about all the improvements that are being done. And I think the new projects at Riley Ranch will enhance the revenues, will protect the revenues, or maybe even increase them that we were getting from Powers and Bassendorf, Laverne. The park is on a nice trajectory right now. So thank you, John, Craig, Tammy, for what you're doing.
Good, good deal. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break of about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll resume with health and wellness.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Bob,
Yes, sir.
I'll call back in. I've got to make another phone call.
Okay.
Okay.